G'day guys and welcome to the Centre Bounds for this my round 9 team review for how I did. Scored a 24.94 if you don't mind. Really happy with this considering some of the unfortunate, mainly of course Hustwaite's score on the field, but all in all, really happy with how the team is coming along, just continuing to tick up and rise up the rankings. Went up 13, 21 spots. We're now at 31, the highest we've been all year long so far. So doing well. The team value isn't quite, nowhere near as high as what other teams have got, but happy to report that we are at least winning some leagues as well, which is obviously really good to see. So the team as a whole did well with Whitfield, Zorko, Clark, Reed, the Primo. Oh, my boy, Zachy Reed, so happy with him. Bison Trainer. The back line can certainly hold its head high. Bice hit his break even. Reed broke the stratosphere. Clark, Zorko, Whitfield giving me good primo scores for my defenders. And Trainer, again, it just feels like this guy gets underscored every now and then. So 46, a little bit sad for him, but we held on to him because we knew that he was going to go up in price. O'Connell with a 49. It wasn't looking great, but for him to get to 49, good for him. And Sadalhole, my boy, so happy to have traded him in. He was the one that I settled on when we got the news of Erasmus being the sub. I had to pick someone. And with him, I'm like, this guy's been the sub too many times. We can't keep persisting with him being the sub. We need to give him full game time. He played a full game in the VFL and did well. And we brought him back, and we just knew that he was capable of a lot more than what he's been relegated to providing. And obviously, there was also the injury to Harry Jones, who plays on a wing for us, which means that there was a spot available on the wing. And my read on it was that Saad would end up playing and being required to play on the wing. And that's exactly what happened. And you just saw with him playing, we had speed, we had pressure, we had ball movement that we just simply did not have before with Jones. I'm not here trying to pot shot Jones at all, obviously with him being injured and all that, but you could tell that with speed, the game just opened up for us. So he should get a lot of confidence from that game, a lot of belief that he genuinely does belong. And I really hope that we continue to persist with him. And I like the DPP as well that was on offer for him so that we could maybe get a Fonte if we really wanted him next week. So that was the back line. Really happy with that. Brayshaw would have been a great VC for everyone who did. Nakos, the opposite. Just had a feeling that if you were to pick between Brayshaw or Dacos, it would have been Andy, because Dacos obviously did not have that support around him in the midfield this week. So it just meant that Fremantle really had a clear scope that if they just simply focused on him, they could get a chance of winning. Brayshaw probably might be the best two-way runner in the comp, doing such an incredible job for us. He has been a wonderful pickup over Sarong. So if you have a Sarong, you're obviously not going to poo-poo his performances for you. But yeah, missing out on Andy would be really hurting a lot of people. So Neil was the one that we brought in, and it was quite remarkable, really, that all three of Dacos, Merritt, and Neil all had attention put into them this week. So, look, am I disappointed that Neil only scored the 81, Zero only scored the 76? Look, obviously, it's unfortunate that you've got some uber premiums there giving you rookie numbers, but it's a long season, and these guys are really consistent. And we saw just last week what Merritt is capable of, and I was expecting a down, game from him this week with James Jordan tag, and with the training at half, he was playing a lot of half forward during the week in training sessions. So was pretty confident that Merritt was not going to be at his prolific best. Neil, on the other hand, when Phillips was named out of the side, I thought, oh, great, Neil's going to be onto a winner. And a lot of people had Neil as the captain, and that definitely hurt very badly, having only an 81 as your captain. But big picture for the season, I'm not crying or complaining about it because I just think these guys are all so good. The Shays continues to play off halfback, and we love him for it. Track with a 99. He was on track for a bigger score, but completely disappeared, as did the rest of Melbourne. Let's be fair. The Hawks absolutely dominated them especially in that last quarter. So Track with a 99, you take it as a forward. Lindsay with a 71 and Hustway, gee whiz, tactically subbed out at halftime on a 27. You know the writings on the wall there that Hustway could be getting flicked out of the side. And Cam McKenzie probably slots straight back into his spot. So Hustway, guys, I think is dead to all of us right now. Gorn Sherry, geez, I'm so happy. Bringing in Sherry a couple of weeks ago, trading out Flynn to him has been absolutely wonderful. Got him in for a 146 and now a 186. It's been and I just said at the time, it's going to be the last time that you'll be able to get this guy in for under 600k, because from this point on, he could honestly be the number one scoring player in Supercoach. And I said that, and then he went a 146 and a 186. So he's already gone up $100,000 in these 2 weeks since I've traded him in. So I know a lot of people have got him in their sides, rightfully so. If you haven't, you're really sweating every week, and he's got the bye coming up with the very first one in round 12. So yeah, you're absolutely, and even with Gorney, he's now up to $735,000, the break even of 95, up against the Big O, who you just saw what Sherry did to him. So loving life to the fullest, I am as an owner of both of these two fine gentlemen, and of course TDK as well, who's going to be up against Grundy this week, and I'm pretty sure Todd Goldstein had a great game against him. Todd Goldstein scored a 115. Todd Goldstein, I love you so much. Thank you so much for being such a good man and coming out and playing your role for the Essendon Bombers, who are in dire need of all the assistance that we can get. You are playing a wonderful role for us, and he's got 115. If Todd Goldstein, at 38,000 years of age, can score 115, TDK, I have high expectations for you, my friend. Baz with a 154. Good stuff, mate. Rankin with a 97. Oh, he jumped up a lot of points very quickly with those 2 goals. My word, we needed that. McRae with a 79. The Blues are a tough midfield to score against. A lot of hard-nosed players. Marich, what a wonderful acquisition you have been, my friend. So good. Absolutely. Keeper. Primo. F1, F2, F3, who knows? But he is rocketing up the rankings, unlike this guy who is plummeting the other way, Caleb Daniel. I would love to trade him out, but with the run that he's got to come, he's got the Tigers this week, and Collingwood, then West Coast. So I think I might just hold him for now. But I would love to trade him out. The only issue is I just don't have 2 great players that I want to get in. I just don't. He's unfortunately he's dropped too much this week. With only a 51, he ended up tanking almost $20,000. If it had been like a 71 or an 81, would have been a different story. But alas, I might just have to keep him. Maxi Hall, this kid's just been so wonderful for us. Love him. He's really almost quite reliably a fieldable option. These last 3 weeks have been so good. I mean, if he scored an 82, a 74, and a 77 divided by 3, there you go. He's basically going at 78 average, which is really impressive, and happy to just keep fielding him at F6 with still low break even and more money to be made. So really happy with Maxi Hall and Cleary, only the 35. Just beat by a better side in my bomb brace, get around us. So interesting position for us to be in at the moment. Freed up a lot of cash last week because we traded out Chera and Sam Powell-Pepper. So I wanted to have the cash because I wasn't entirely sure who the players are that are going to be traded out this week and who the rookies are going to be. So I thought one of the rookies for sure was going to be Fonte, who had scored really well in his first week. 70 plus scored, didn't he? 77? Yeah, 77 he scored against the Swans, and now this week he pulled out a 29, and that 77 will drop off, and that 29 will still be around for a little bit longer, sort of eating into his cash gen. But Joe Fonte is one that I think has got decent job security, which is why I'm more want to trade him in. Bice, who I was thinking about trading during the week, he managed to hit his break even of 71, but now he's up to 102. So pretty comfortable trading out Bice this week for sure. If I can zoom in a little bit more, there we go. Might be easier for you to see. So I'm thinking that Bice can go out, and I probably want Shees to go back into the back line, leave just the one rookie there, because we've left that money to get an Uber Primo, a Primo who I think was going to be a top of liner and be a reliable scorer for us, because my concern is in the midfield at the moment. I feel like I've got 5 great scorers in the back line. I initially thought I had 5 great scorers in the forward line, but look, if Daniel can sort things out, if Sheasel ends up maybe sharing a bit more of the ball with him, but ideally, if I just cancel this, just have a look at the team once again. So Sheasel can come back here. So I trade out Bice. So there's one rookie there, and then Petrarca comes to the forward line, and my thinking was that the forward line is finished. The rucks and flex are finished. The back line only requires one more player, and that player I'm thinking is going to be Sinclair. And then I'm really requiring to get more midfielders. I still have 4 midfield slots that I need to fill out. I know 2 of them hopefully are going to be Bont and Butters, which means there's still 2 more that I need to fill out, whereas I only need 1 in the back line and ideally no more in the forward line if Caleb Daniel can fix himself up. So just undo all my changes again. So that's my thinking. So my thinking is I still need to get more midfielders to fill out the team, because we can't be relying, because M8 is clearly the big issue for me at the moment in this team. It's M8. So I think I really need to address that as best I can, unless Sheasel stays there, and then maybe, because Hustwaite's dead, so maybe Hustwaite goes. Who's the midfielder that I want? I'd love Bont and Butters. I'd love both of those guys. But now that Bont's chucked up a 99 and Butters with a 117, with their really high prices, they should be dropping. So your Butters now has a break-even of 183, which is huge. And the Bont has a break-even of 159. Now, he could do it against us, the walking wounded at this point in time. But I'm going to roll with the percentages and hope that he doesn't score a 159. Plus, their buys are coming up. They got the first buy, both of them. So thankfully, we can wait on them and maybe go for someone else in the midfield who doesn't have the early buy and is also a top 8 caliber scorer. And I'm thinking that's going to be Josh Dunkley. For me, a 539k, I think this guy certainly, his break even is 71. He's averaging 115 for the year. He's up against Melbourne this week, and he's quite consistent. He's quite consistent with his scoring because he can get it through a number of avenues. He just loves to tackle. He's a great tackler. He's a two-way player, a lot of contested possessions. So I think I'm going to go with Dunks, especially as we get into the rainier weather moving forward. Would be repeat stoppages, more emphasis on contested possessions, repeat stoppages, and things like that. Therefore, also more tackles. And we've got a fairly nice discount on him of 63,000. So I'm thinking Dunkley could be the guy for me at this point. And the thing is, that I have some money for this defender, whoever it may be, a rookie defender, but I'm also trying to think of how I can get Sinclair next week, because Sinclair, he still has a break of 106, so it's unlikely that he's going to ricochet back up. I know he's got West Coast, but he's playing them over there, and he's not at Marvel. He's playing at Optus Stadium. 102, 116. What's that? Basically 110 average there. So if he goes 110 this week, he'll only move up 1.7 thousand and still be at 531. And if we anticipate a strong win, I mean, look at the way that they had a strong win against Freo. He only scored an 83. So, look, 110, I think, is a fair estimate for him. He's basically the same price. So I don't think I necessarily have to force him in, whereas someone like Dunks, who has only a 71 break even, is likely to go up in price a bit more and be harder to trade in. So thinking Sinclair can be the guy that I trade in next week, but it's going to be tight because I don't have any big cash cows left unless I want to involve Max Hall, for example, as a trade out next week. He could be the time to shed Max Hall. Break even of 37, playing up against West Coast. So really excited about that. What happens if he gives me an 82? What happens if he gives me an 82, say, this week? His projection, he becomes 336 with a break even of 48 against the Gold Coast at Marvel. They suck at Marvel. Say he scores another 74, or say 70. And then he's up against Melbourne at TIO. Oh, geez. Melbourne up in Darwin. Let's say he only goes 60 in that game. So he's still got a little bit of money to go, not that much. So it might be soon time for Max Hall to go. So I'll have to do some calculations, but I just want to make sure that I have enough money to get Sinclair in next week. What's Sinclair going to be at again? Sorry, I forget my. Will be 531, right? I think. So if Sinclair will be 531, okay, approximately. So I need to be weary. What will Cleary be? Cleary got a break even of 55. He's projected to go 60. If he goes 60, then he'll be close to his break even. Might be Cleary time to go next week. So he'll be 261. So I need $270,000 from somewhere else potentially to get him in. All right. Well, let's go for someone cheap then in the back line. Might have to go for someone cheap. Could be an Oscar McDonald, depending on. I would have loved to have gone Lewis Hayes, but the Bombers, we are actually freaking cursed. It's disgusting. Another ACL to another debutant. I don't know what we've done. I don't know what we've done to deserve this at this point in time, but we are actually cursed this year. Another ACL, such a promising debut. He's earned it so much. I would have loved to have gone Lewis Hayes this week, but look, it might be Fonte. It might be Fonte this week. He played against Geelong. They're a tough matchup over there as well at GMHBA Stadium. He normally had 17 disposals. He only had 7 marks, so he only had 1 mark. I'm willing to chalk this up as just a bad game. He's got Freo at NG, Carlton at Marvel, then Richmond. So I might be willing to trade in Fonte this week because he's on the bubble. If it's not him, then I could even go a Hugh Boxall if he's named and not the sub, just so that we can have quite a bit of cash to go into next week to make sure that we're able to afford someone like a Sinclair, who could just end up, being in our midfield, for example, as long as Trainer continues to do all right. Like Trainer's got Richmond this week. He's got North Melbourne this week, so he could score pretty well. in a comfortable, because their forward line's not overly damaging. He could go between 66 and 82. Say he goes 75. He'll go up 16.5K, and then he's got the Bombers. Again, we don't really have a damaging forward line either. So he goes 75 again. He'll get to 303,000. So happy to keep fielding trainer for the next couple of weeks. Could be Boxall. If it's not Boxall, then it could be Fonty in the back line, who I think has better job security. But I just want to make sure that I have enough funds to be able to trade in someone like a Sinclair. I just want to be upgrading every week as best I can and keep removing rookies. So I might just go Hugh Boxall. And if he is the sub, or if he's dropped, then we can fix it. We can trade him out maybe to an Erasmus potentially if he's not the sub this week. Because he looked really good when he was subbed on Erasmus, and Erasmus is only 150, so he's still a bit less than Fonty is, and he's got the DPP, which is pretty handy. So we'll see what we hear during the week. I might just... Do I want Boxall on the field though? He's got West Coast this week, so if he plays, he should hopefully score pretty well if that's the case. So look, I'll just leave it as is. I'll just get Boxall in. He's cheap. He's got a good matchup this week as well. And it might seem pretty silly to do that. We can loop between Cleary and Hall because Cleary plays early, but I'm quite confident that Hall will be a great on-field option playing against West Coast. So not too disappointed about that. VC for sure will be Sherry, and the captain will be Gawn, and Boyd can be the loop if Sherry pops off. So this is so good. So happy about that. And Sardis had like 40 odd disposals and 10 clearances in the VFL. So he's, again, continuing to knock down the door to try and get in. So hence why we're still holding him. Sard, O'Connell making us money. Gross. Look, he didn't have a lot of game time, but he also didn't have a lot of game awareness either. So I hope he doesn't get dropped for getting run down twice in that last quarter. And instead, hopefully they get around him and try to encourage him to learn from those mistakes and just to continue to get better. So Gross hopefully can continue playing. If he's not, then obviously he's a dead bench because Camporeale is also not playing. So it's, we're sort of sweating a little bit on the cash in the midfield. The back line and the forward line are doing all the heavy lifting basically at this point. So fingers crossed that Daniel can continue to pull the finger out and get involved a little bit more in the play. Still taking some kick-ins, but this is where the team is at. So let me know, ladies and gentlemen, how you did, what you think of these trades, any sort of suggestions that you might have for me. But I'm just really cognizant of the fact that I want more mids, knowing that who two of them are going to be, but I just want to try and get the best possible midfielders as much as possible. I think I've got the best possible rucks. I do want to try and get the best possible mids. I have used a lot of trades during the course of this season, sidewaysing and trying to improve. Haven't got the quantity of the premiums compared to others who might be pretty close to full premium, but I'm certainly trying to field the rookies that are scoring acceptable numbers, whilst also trying to prioritize getting the best of the best, because it is a marathon, not a sprint. I know we're trying to really get in as many premiums as possible ASAP, but I also do understand, I think hopefully all of you guys can understand as well, that Supercoach doesn't end just when you finish your team. There's still a lot of football to come after the buys are done, and there's a long season ahead. And the best players are the ones that are able to maintain their average. They're the ones that might even be able to go up a level when the going gets tough, the tough get going. So that's why I'm trying to get the best of the best, because it's not just a short-term thing. It's also trying to look at it into the future by getting the best possible players that I can for throughout the whole season. That's why I want a Dunkley. That's why I want a Neil. That's why I want Merritt, even though You can always get him for a little bit cheaper every now and then because he can give you one of these, but his consistency is really important to me. And he can occasionally, of course, have a really high stealing score. We're getting close to best 18, and having some of these gun premiums who don't have the early buy, if they all pop off in round 12, I don't even know who plays what in round 12. So we've got, oh, wow. Round 12, these these guys are all playing against each other. Oh, gee whiz, it's pretty crazy. So, yeah, I really want Dunkley and Neil playing against Essendon in round 12. All right, I think I've just cemented those trades now for me. So, yeah, Dunkley's the guy I want to get in. And then I certainly want to get Sinclair. Hopefully next week is my upgrade. We'll then finish the back line. Because Reed, essentially, as I've said in a few other live streams and shows, that Reed, you can call him Reedley at this point because he's just playing Jordan Ridley's role. And Ridley, we know, is a premium player. So, Reed, you can stick around for as long as you want, my son. You are an absolute legend for me. So, that's what we're looking at. M8 still is the issue. But hopefully that is addressed next week when we get Sinclair, who obviously has the mid DPP as well. So there we have it. That's the state of the team. And this is the state of my ranking at 31-31. So if you enjoyed what you had to see or hear today, please like, subscribe, notification bell, all that jazz. And don't miss out on Monday night live stream, of course, is the review crew. Tuesdays, if you remember, you have the members stream. Thursday, we have the drive home, and of course, any other videos that Big J and I occasionally get to record. So thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you all on the flip side. Bye for now.